Welcome to the theFNtruth, where most topics are worth discussing, and I'm the master of none, but I'm a realist. I'm your host, Chris Hurst, aka CH, aka The Truth. Now these are my views and opinions, so don't sue me. So now, let's go. What's good, my people? Good day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are across the country. Hello, how's everybody? Good. God bless. Today's topic is called Saluting Our Heroes. And you'll hear this topic again because there's so many heroes in my book that I personally need to salute. And this is the first. And the first heroes that I need to salute are the Tuskegee Airmen. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm not a history buff, but I'm going to tell you what I do know. The Tuskegee Airmen were African-American pilots. They were nicknamed the Red Tails, and they were pilots in World War II. And I believe it was from like 1940 to 1948, somewhere around that time. I'm not 100% sure. Way before my time. I was born in 70. So please forgive me if I don't have the facts straight. But let me tell you my experience. It was in the early to mid 90s. I can't tell you exactly when it was, but I used to be a technician, cable tech for Comcast. And please forgive me again because I got my years kind of twisted because since I was younger, I was in the telecommunications field. So it was either Comcast or it was either Bell Atlantic. It was one of those two. All I know, I was working in Philly and going to customers' houses. Well, anyway, I went to this man's house. And again, I'm in my early 20s. And I went to this man's house, and I either went there for cable or phone. Again, please forgive me because that part is not important. The fact is, I went to this house. Anyway, I go to this man's house off of Germantown Avenue in Philly. And it was like around Germantown and Gorgas Lane. Again, don't remember exactly where, but I know it was off of Germantown and Gorgas Lane. So I guess that's almost considered like, I don't know, either Westmount area or East Germantown. Again, people from Philly, they know where I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm in this man's house. Services, wiring, or whatever the case may be. So, as I'm about to leave, the man says to me, have you ever heard of the Tuskegee Airmen? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. At that point in time, in my early 20s, I knew nothing about the Tuskegee Airmen. All right, history in school was pretty much the same thing. Martin Luther King, a little bit of Malcolm X. If anything about Malcolm X. So it was more so about Martin Luther King. So now I run into this man who asked me, have you ever heard about the Tuskegee Airmen? I was like, no, sir, never have. And I remember that man getting so mad at me. He said, that's what's wrong with y'all young kids. Y'all young kids don't know nothing. Y'all young kids need to learn, about your history. And I'm assuming that was his daughter. She may have been at the time, maybe like in her 30s or 40s. I don't know. And I remember she was like, listen, you can't, don't pick him apart, Dad. He doesn't know. He's like, but no, these kids need to learn. And as I'm walking through the man's house, he has a lot of black and white photos of him as a young man, with, he's standing by the plane and things of that nature. And I remember at the time, I was too immature to understand that I'm around a piece of history. And I didn't even realize that I was around a piece of history. So the man gave me a little history about the Tuskegee Airmen, about them, fighting in the war and stuff like that. And, how important they were to the war. They didn't even get the best planes. Unfortunately, you're talking about a racist time during that time. So they didn't even think that these black men were smart enough to even fly a plane or anything else. But, they were an integral part of our history and of World War II. So I say that to say that, whoever that man is, he may have crossed over by now. But I wish I knew who that man was to this day. I wish that I can meet him today at 48 years old and shake his hand. Because he did a great job for this country. He did a phenomenal job for this country, considering everything he had to go through at that time. So I want to salute our heroes, and I just want to do it as a whole, the Tuskegee Airmen. And whoever that man was, I salute you, sir. At the time, I didn't know who the Tuskegee Airmen were. And believe me, I'm not a history buff now, so I can't break down, everything that they did. But I have a brief history of them now. And a movie called Red Tails came out, which was an excellent movie. Came out years ago, so if you never saw it, you may want to go check it out. You can find it somewhere, I guess, but it was called Red Tails. But anyway, I want to salute my heroes, and I'll pick up on this subject again. But this is the first episode of saluting my heroes, because it's going to be more. And I just want to give props where props are due, because we need to do that. Because those men are legends. So, whoever you are, sir, if you're still here, then I salute you. If you passed over, I apologize that I didn't know who you were at that time. But, you gave me a nice tongue lashing when I was in your house. And when I drove off, you really made me think about that. Like, wow, this man really checked me. And I wasn't upset. I was actually mad at myself because I didn't know who you were. You know what I mean? I was mad at myself because I wasn't taught about who you were. So, again, I'm saluting my heroes and salute to the Tuskegee Airmen. Peace.